change is coming. My change is coming.
I'm Mike Wallace. I'm the founder, creator, visionary of Empowerment Academy. Our mission is to spark an urgency to pursue purpose, to be the change that you want to see. I know more often than not on our social media, on anything, hashtag Empowerment Academy, you're going to see to be the change that we want to see. We're pushing you to be the change that we want to see. Now, we're going to dive into the lesson. It's August, you guys. It is August. We're in month number 8. Now, the number 8 means new beginning. And I've seen time and time again on social media, everyone saying, this is my new beginning. This is my new start. This is my new season. I'm ready to refresh. I'm ready to be revamped, in a sense, for my new beginning throughout the month of August. Now, entering into this season, I wanted to really dive into the cause and effect because of this, we don't really understand that the cause and effect is what's really going to keep us moving forward. It's going to really help us to understand that, okay, with this new beginning, what am I going to do differently than what I did the last 8 months? What am I going to do to position myself for the next 4 months to be successful, to go into 2022 ready to kill 2022 from January to December? But before we can even go into that, I need you to understand that, hey, you have an advantage. I need to remind you to protect that advantage. Yes, to protect that advantage. You sitting at home right now, whoever's in this room right now, I want you to turn to your neighbor. I want you to comment somebody's name, tag someone, and let them know that, hey, you have an advantage. I need 5 people right now to comment that hey, you have an advantage. I have an advantage. I have an advantage. Yes, you have an advantage. Now, we're going to go to the text for today. Acts chapter 1 verse 8. It's a very familiar passage. We're only going to focus on one key part on there. And it says, but ye shall receive power. But ye shall receive power. We're going to just that right there is this. We're going to leave it at that for today. But ye shall receive power. Now, as I go on, you understand. I'll explain as we go on. You understand, but I want to dive in. I want to draw your attention to the year 2021 and how much has truly transpired within the year already. Some of us have continued cycles from the previous years. We have been continually hanging around people. We have been continually chosen to deal with people that have chosen to enter and exit within your life when they feel like it. We have people within our life who thought that you thought within yourself that they had the best interest at heart for you. You thought, but they continually chose to hurt you. They continually manipulated. They continually used you because they thought you were naive enough not to catch on to what was going on. People have taken advantage of you. They have utilized your gifting and your talents and your abilities for their gain and their fame. And because people, again, have thought you were naive and you didn't know any better, you went through so much unnecessary. And mind you, it's only August. From January up until now, you've went through so much unnecessary. You have jeopardized your peace and your happiness. Your peace and your happiness at all costs to reach the goal. To reach a lofty goal. To open the door that God wanted to open for you. You sacrifice these things at all costs. Some of us have just flat out struggled this year. No parties involved. It's just been a tough year. Depression, fear, anxiety, doubt has kicked our tail throughout the course of this year. You have felt that you've been held hostage by these feelings. You felt hostage by these feelings. You felt bounded by these feelings. You weren't sinning, but because of these feelings, you felt as if you weren't a sinner. You're just bound by hurt, depression, anxiety, fear. You're just like, ugh. And it affected your daily decisions. You are now empowered. Yes, empowered by these day-to-day decisions to sit back and to let fear, depression, anger, doubt, anxiety hold you hostage. January 1st, 2021, you are motivated. You were encouraged. You were excited. This is my year. This is my new year. Yeah, COVID had me down 2020, but 2021, this is my year. This is my year. As the year went on, you found yourself contemplating. You found yourself questioning God. You found yourself asking yourself, will I ever be able to accomplish these January goals within the last 4 months? Am I going to be able to make it count? Yes, I'm growing, but I don't feel the growth. I see it. I somewhat feel it. People are telling me, oh, you've grown so much within a year, but within myself, I still feel as if I am where I was January 2021. I still feel as if what I wrote on paper has still been stuck on that paper. We have gone to the point to where we've contemplated so much, and it's like, you know what, God, I'm just going to count 2021 another L. This year is just another L. I'm just going to take an L. 2021 is just another L. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. Yes. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. The devil is your enemy. Yes, he's coming to kill and destroy. Yes, he's like a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour. But there's an even bigger enemy that we have to face within these last 4 months. Yes, it will be the easy target to preach and to go against the devil. But truth be told, there's a bigger enemy at hand. And it has more access to you than you ever thought it did. And you know who that enemy is? You. You are your biggest enemy. Now, it's the war of you versus you. You're like, Mike, what do you mean it's a war versus me versus me? Like, how does this make sense? Well, the war of you versus you is simply saying that you know your struggles. You know the voids that you need filled. You know what causes you to slump. You know what causes you to feel the way that you feel. These feelings that you know that don't belong within you. You know why. You know that comfort is the easy thing to do. But you stick to those decisions. You purposely give up in war. You wave your white flag before you can even choose to fight. Before you even choose to pick up the sword, you wave your white flag because you're like, you know what? These uncomfortable fights, these uncomfortable conversations, these uncomfortable decisions I have to make, I'm not ready for it. I don't think I'm mentally strong enough. But I'm here to let you know again that, hey, you have an advantage. And it's time to wake up and recognize that you have an advantage. Before I go any further in today's lesson, I want to break down the word advantage. Yes, it is the condition of being in favor or having superiority over a situation. That's the definition of advantage. I mean, plenty of times and for those of you who watch sports, you've always seen that, hey, this team has the advantage over this person because they have more skill, they have more talent. This person has the advantage over this person because they have this, that, and the third. Yes, we know that. We've heard that time and time again. But I find it amazing how easy it is to truly lose sight of your advantage. I find it amazing how many people don't even know that you have the advantage over your situation, have the advantage over your addiction, have the advantage over your hurt, have the advantage of the people that empower and enable these bad behaviors. You have the advantage. We have been trapped in our chase of fame and glory for so long. We have been committed to our pursuit to chase the pleasures. I'm going to say that again. I felt that one. We have been so committed to our pursuit to chase the pleasures. What do you mean by that? What do you mean? Well, some of us find pleasure in relationships. We find pleasure in money. We find pleasure in fame. We find pleasure in alcohol. We find pleasure in drugs. We find pleasure in bullying. We find pleasure in fighting. These things that we know don't belong. We're committed to getting that feeling because we know that feeling makes you feel as if I'm the man. Yeah, I'm the man. Can't nobody stop me. I'm the man. Okay, let me get back on track. But again, it has been easy for you to lose sight of the advantage that God has placed within you. We have lowered our standards. We have casted aside our advantage. Yes, casted it aside as if we don't even know. We don't even want to acknowledge that God has placed this within us. We push it aside. We have done everything in our power to do things with your own might and your own strength. We have put the true source on the shelf. The true and one and only source on the shelf. You say, you know what? I don't need this right now. I don't want to hear that right now. Nope, you're not telling me it's okay to. Nope, I don't want to hear it. Nope. But, as the Bible also says, ain't nothing new under the sun. Mike, what do you mean by this? Well, I am reminded of Noah. When I think of Noah, and how the people continually, blatantly ignored the warning that Noah gave the people. They continually, blatantly ignored the warning that he gave the people. Well, what does this have to do with the advantage? Well, Noah gave them the advantage of knowing that, hey, it's going to rain and we're all going to die unless you get on this boat. They had the advantage, but yet they chose because they couldn't see it. It took 40 years, yes, granted, but still, because they refused to see it, because they refused to see that, hey, Noah was not playing no games, because they refused to really take hold and pay attention to what was going on. To pay attention to what was really going on. It cost them in the end their lives, no matter how much he warned them, no matter how much he offered them the chance to save their life. In that moment, the people chose not to until it was too late. Until it started raining, they said, no, you crazy, boy. Oh man, you crazy, man. Crazy, old man, y'all crazy. But when those doors closed and they couldn't get in, it then clicked that, oh my God, he was trying to warn us. I am reminded of Esau, how he literally gave away his advantage. He literally gave his blessing away because he was desperate for some food in that moment. I am reminded of the children of Israel. Now, one thing you will learn about Empowerment Academy, the children of Israel is a popular subject within us because it's so many things that we can learn from this group of people. It is amazing to me how they literally had the promise in grasp, but because of fear, they literally cast aside their advantage and went to spy out the land. And because they chose to spy out the land, you know what that did? It cost them 40 years in the wilderness. 40 years in the wilderness, and then on top of that, when they went to go conquer Jericho, it cost them a war. They had to fight to conquer what was theirs. Yes, they shot out the walls down, but they still had to go in and take what was theirs. In addition to 40 years, all they had to do was claim it. But because they chose to cast aside their advantage, they grumbled, they complained even though they were free from, Jesus, let me stop. Look, I'm finna get caught up, y'all. I'm about to get caught up. But I am reminded of Samson. Now, this story really sticks out to me. I'm reminded of Samson. Why? Because he had the advantage like none other. He had strength like no other. But because he was so fixated on satisfying Samson, he's so fixated on getting and taking advantage of Delilah, he was willing to sacrifice that advantage that God gave him, which was his strength. He was willing to tell Delilah where his source lied to satisfy Samson's flesh in that moment. He was willing time and time again to play with fire to satisfy Samson. And Jesus. I am reminded of Judas. Yes, Judas. This man was willing to sacrifice being what I like to call the dream team. He was willing to sacrifice being a part of the dream team to betray God, to betray Jesus. He was willing to betray Jesus for some money, pieces of silver. I could go on and on and on and on again. On and on. Throughout the Bible, there have been multiple people who had the advantage. I think about Solomon, the wisest man that ever lived. And you know what's crazy to me was he had the advantage. He had all that wisdom. That was his advantage. But still chose to be foolish with it and messed with the wrong women, which cost him heavily more than he could ever imagine. More than you could ever imagine. And I often think about it, but I'm going to relate this back to real life. We have had multiple examples of who and what we do not want to be like. We have had multiple people within our life, within our families, who have tried time and time again to help you, to let you know that, hey, please do not go down the same path that I went down. Please do not repeat my mistakes. But because we don't see it as an advantage, we don't see it as an advantage. We don't see it as them trying to help us, to warn us, just like Noah. We don't see it that way. We cast it aside and say, you know what? I'm going to do it my way, or it's the highway. People have been giving you the same motivational speeches, the same sermons, the same advice for months. I'm just going to focus on 2021. All of 2021, we've had the same advice. We have the same sermons and messages preached about, hey, we're coming out this year. Hey, this is your year of release. Hey, this is your season to step out and be great. But at the same time, we don't believe it. We don't believe it. We've had people tell us in private to, hey, you need to make the hard choices. You need to make the unpopular decisions. You need to do the things that people aren't doing in private. You need to put the work in. You need to do this. You need to do that. Hey, do this, do that. Hey, it may be weird for you, but if you do this, I guarantee you that it'll boost your confidence. Hey, if you do this, I guarantee you. Hey, I'll guarantee you. But because a lot of us, we choose not to, because it forces us not to be comfortable. It forces us to lose control. That's right, not have control. And the crazy thing about it is, by you not having control and you giving it to God, you have an advantage over more people than you could ever imagine. A lot of us have sat down on what God has placed in you to do this year, the vision He has told you to put to action. A lot of us by choice have hidden our anointing. A lot of us by choice have allowed people to put us down. A lot of us by choice have allowed people to hurt us. A lot of people by choice have allowed people to silence us. But I am here to remind you that you have an advantage, knowing that what God has placed within you, that what you possess within you is your advantage. You have God on your side. And for those of you who have the Holy Ghost, my God, you have even more advantage. You have that connection. You have that true relationship with God. That true relationship with God. And I am here to let you know that just like me, you can have that relationship with God. You can access this, the peace of mind, the joy. God truly guiding you and leading you and leading and guiding you day by day. That's advantage enough for me right there to push forward and to do what He told me to do. Not having to worry about, will I succumb to my addictions? Will I succumb to the pressure? Will I drop my guard? Will I compromise? Not having to worry about that day after day, but just knowing that, okay, my only job today is to do what God told me to do. My only job today is to say what God told me to say. My only job today is to be a true disciple. My only job is to really be happy and to know that at the end of the day, I'm going to heaven. That's an advantage to me. That's an advantage to me. The strength to fight day by day, knowing that the relationship with God will pay off. That's advantage enough for me. I dare you to connect to the source. I dare you to stop running from the source. I dare you to stop taking advantage of your advantage. Whew. I dare you, and I am begging you to stop fighting these battles alone. As I forestated before, you have God on your side. You have Him on your side. And as I stated in the beginning, this is month number 8, the season of new beginning. But new beginning only happens if you're willing to surrender. And I'm guaranteeing you, surrendering right now is worth the sacrifice. Why? Because you have the advantage and you will continue to be the change that you want to see.